Hi, and welcome to ETA 56 Days Tools for an Empowered Mindset. I am so excited that you're back and listening and ready to hear all about 40 days to go. We will be talking about affirmations, incantations, and mantras. They're all meant to benefit you kind of in the same way. So in a way, they're all the same, but I'll just go through kind of a small little distinctions and how you can use them. So affirmations, and I'm just going to read you the definition. In New Thought and New Age terminology, refer primarily to the practice of positive thinking and self-empowerment. More specifically, an affirmation is a carefully formatted statement that should be repeated to oneself and written down frequently. For affirmations to be effective, it is said that they need to be present tense, positive, personal, and specific. So, present tense, positive, personal, and specific. So, I wanted to go quickly over each one of these and just kind of offer you my feedback on them. So, Greg Braden, one of my favorite authors, he talks about present tense being very important because otherwise, if you state something in the future, like I will find my mate, so if you keep talking about the future and it happening in the future and when it will happen in the future, you're activating a vibration, an energetic standpoint of something being out of reach for you and for you at this present moment. So you keep pushing it into the future. Well, this will happen in the future. Well, truly, the future never really happens. We're always in the present tense. So it is much more beneficial to activate that thought, that feeling, as if it is currently happening in the present moment. Now, it's not quite so dramatic if you're thinking of a specific point in the future, like an exam that you'll be taking or a trip that you're going on. Obviously, you're not doing that right this second, but you are pinpointing a specific time. So when you are actually thinking about, doing positive affirmations of how you will feel during this exam, if you think about it, you're actually feeling into the moment. Okay, I'm feeling like I'm there. I'm feeling like I'm taking this exam. How is it going to be? So really, you are still stating it in the present tense. And then especially when you're talking about, your mate or your health or your financial situation, it's so much more beneficial to really feel into what would this feel like right now, and then word it that way. The next point, positive, stating your affirmation in the positive. That is a big reminder that words are powerful. You don't need a list of which words to use and which ones to avoid, although gosh, there's so much info on there out there now, so you can definitely find lists of, hey, these are great words to use in affirmations, and they may or may not be beneficial. The biggest thing is feel into it because it's all about you. How does this word feel to you? How does this expression feel to you? For example, the word debt. How does that word feel to you? If you were to phrase an affirmation about getting out of debt, what are you activating? What are you feeling? You're feeling that heavy feeling of the debt, that burdening feeling of the debt. So then think about, how can I phrase this differently? How can I phrase this in a more positive way? So then you would go to other words, think about the word money. That may feel great to somebody, it may feel bad to someone else. So if it's something that feels good to you, go ahead, say an affirmation like, my money flows freely and abundantly. That might work. If money doesn't work for you, choose a different word. It could even be a word in a different language, whatever works. Make up a fun word, make up a funny word. All that matters is that you know what you mean by it and that it feels good to you. And you know what I've noticed is very interesting? You can actually change how you feel about a certain word. It's like you can train yourself how to feel about a certain word. For example, the word money used to be something where I'm like, oh, money, there's never enough of it. And it's just, money was not a very positive word for me. But I just trained myself into, okay, every time I hear about money, every time I read about money, because it is all around us, I just trained myself, what are the first 3 words that I want to pop into my head when I hear this word? And when you remind yourself over and over and over again, you actually start to have a different association with the word. So I found that to be really powerful in showing yourself how you can change how you feel about something. Our next point when talking about affirmations is making the affirmation personal. That means making it specific to you. What's most important to you? Which words feel good? You don't necessarily have to write your own affirmation, but definitely pay attention to what really grabs you when you read something, when you hear something, when you read through a list of affirmation. Which one do you actually have a visceral feeling with? You will notice, you will feel it. You will read through affirmations and some of them just sound like blah blah blah, or you even catch your mind wandering, and others you're like, whoa, this feels really good. Sometimes part of an affirmation fits and the other part doesn't, or you're like, oh, if I just change this word or change that word, it would really be good. Make it your own, make it very specific to you and to, whatever challenge that you're having in your life at this moment. I actually keep a stack of note cards. I love note cards. They're incredibly beneficial to me. Mostly I like them because it's almost like, one thought per card, one idea per card. So it really helps me to kind of break things up. If I have a big binder of things, it's almost like it's an overwhelming feeling, versus a note card is kind of like a one at a time kind of thing. So I keep a stack of note cards of like 150 note cards that are just sitting on my counter in my bathroom. And so in the morning when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm just like randomly picking up a couple of note cards. So every morning I start with just reading 5 or 10, affirmations or inspiring quotes or something. But I definitely have some affirmations on these note cards. And if there's one that really stands out for me, I kind of stick it on my mirror for that day. Specific. How can you make your affirmations more specific? If you want to. I don't think you necessarily need to. For me, it's about what feels better to me right now. So when you want to manifest something specific in your life, then yes, use a specific affirmation, specific to your physical body or to your health or to love, to finding a mate, to your career, to a particular person in the office, whatever it is that you have going on, you can make it very specific to activate a very specific vibration. Although technically, once you've kind of set a desire in motion, it's already manifesting. It's already on your way to you. It's just a matter of you actually aligning with it. And actually, the more gentle you are, the easier it will be for you to align with a really clean and clear vibration. But it is fun. It can definitely be fun to be more specific. The more specific you are, the more momentum will gain around it. If you just think about, planning a trip, it is just so fun to kind of get rolling on it and to think about, ooh, what am I going to do on this day? What am I going to do on that day? What are all my possibilities? Abraham Hicks always says, be as specific as feels good. And if you say that affirmation and it doesn't feel good, on that day, or, it's been feeling good to you all week, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this just doesn't feel good today. Go more general, go for the general feeling of how do I want to feel in this moment? Do I just want to feel supported? Do I want to feel nurtured? Do I want to feel loved? Do I just want to feel ease, like I just have nothing to do, like I'm timeless? go for what you need in the moment, and that can be something specific or that can be something general. I also want to mention Louise Hay here because I feel like talking about affirmations is definitely incomplete if we don't mention Louise Hay, because she has an amazing body of work and on affirmations and how to deliberately direct and create a fulfilling life. And her web addresses are definitely down below, louisehay.com, hayhouse.com. And I also found one on specifically affirmations. It's on her healyourlife.com website, which is from her movie that she has created called You Can Heal Your Life, which was a very powerful movie for me. It was one that really kind of got me started much more in depth in my spiritual path. And I was actually battling a health challenge at the time, and it really helped me. On her movie, she also has a separate disc with kind of repeating affirmations, so you can even like just lay down in meditation and just listen to these affirmations being read to you, which is really great. So just her definition of affirmations. Affirmations are inspirational, positive statements you say or think about yourself. Saying daily affirmations helps reprogram our negative self-talk so we can manifest more positive thinking, feeling, and experiences in our lives. So definitely powerful. Let's get to our next one, incantations. Incantations is something that I really didn't hear until I got into the work of Tony Robbins. So if you have heard of incantations anywhere else, definitely leave me a comment below. I'm always curious. So he says, if you want to create real change in your life, affirmations alone aren't enough. You can recite something uplifting, but if you aren't embodying it physically, then you're just, skimming the surface, and that's why incantations are so powerful. With incantations, not only are you speaking words of empowerment, but you're also using your body and your voice. So that is the biggest difference that he makes between affirmations and incantations. You're using your body and your voice. So you're changing your physiology and changing your state. And this can change everything. And if you know anything about Tony Robbins, you know that he is all about physiology and changing your state, because the state you are in any moment affects everything in your life. It affects the decisions you make, it affects your communication, it affects everything. In Abraham Hicks terms, that would be your alignment. How aligned are you in the moment or not? So I believe you can really turn any affirmation into an incantation just by adding more feeling. What empowers you? What moves you? What do you say or think that gives you that immediate feedback in your gut and in your heart? It's about, not just repeating your affirmation 10 times, but actually saying it with feeling, with heart. It's more than just saying it, it's feeling deeply into the truth of what you're actually saying and feeling yourself already in the midst of that manifestation, in the midst of it happening. So it does make a difference, how you say something. Some affirmations or incantation may ask for a calmer voice. For example, if you're in kind of a stressed out, overwhelmed state and you want to say an affirmation or incantation that says, I am calm, I am centered, clear, and focused. It's one way to say it in that kind of tone of voice. I am calm, centered, clear, and focused. It would be a very different feeling if you say that same sentence in a very aggressive voice, like, I am calm and centered and clear and focused. That is not going to give you the same feeling. I don't think it's going to bring your blood pressure down, or it's not going to slow down the millions of thoughts that are running through your head, keeping you from focusing on the task that's at hand. So how you say something can make all the difference in how it feels to you. Likewise, if you say, I am so incredibly powerful in a very low and slow and dull voice, I am so incredibly powerful, it's going to feel a whole lot different than if you say it with passion and excitement and conviction. That's one of the things. Well, Tony Robbins actually adds the cuss word in there, but apparently he used to say that to himself while he was jogging, just over and over again. Just like, I am so incredibly powerful. I am so incredibly powerful. I am so incredibly powerful. If you say it with more passion, you can feel the energy building in your body. So that is my biggest distinction that I see between an affirmation and an incantation. And then let's talk about mantras. And this is kind of something fun. The definition that I found for a mantra is a sacred utterance, a numinous sound, a syllable, word, or group of words in Sanskrit, believed by practitioners to have a psychological and spiritual powers. Mantra meditation helps to induce an altered state of consciousness. So I thought that was really kind of cool. Nowadays, we probably are a bit more relaxed with our definition of a mantra. The way I see it is that mantras are usually shorter, 1, 2, or 3 words, sometimes used to get your mind away from thinking or manifesting anything deliberately. So generating a general focus, a more pulled back focus rather than a specific focus. So like we talked about in 53 Days to Go, meditation, Brendan Bashar has his release meditation where he just uses that mantra over and over again, just saying release, 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 release. It usually comes with a particular rhythm. You can chant it, you can sing it, you can just say it. Deepak Chopra also is very big on mantra meditations. A lot of times he will use a word that's in Sanskrit. The benefit of that is to, shut down your brain to not have a feeling with the word. We talked about feelings, the meaning of words, and the feeling a word holds or encapsulates. If I tell you a word you've never heard, you probably don't have any kind of feeling around it. You might have a feeling around, oh, that word sounds very harsh, or that word sounds beautiful, but you don't have a particular meaning attached to it because you don't know what it means. I often like to start my meditations with 5 minutes of chanting a mantra just to clear my head, just to establish, oh, this is time for meditation now. And it really kind of gets me kickstarted in letting go of all these random thoughts that are floating around in my head. All right, well, that's my take on affirmations, incantations, and mantras. I added these to our 56 tools for an empowered mindset because they have benefited me so greatly in my life. My note cards when I'm in a funk or I just need a reset. Like I said, I pull them out in the morning to kind of set my day, but anytime during the day when I'm just like, not feeling it, I just grab a couple and either randomly choose one or just start reading from the top and just, wait until something grabs me. Sometimes I set myself a timer with it because otherwise I'll go through all 150 of them. So sometimes I'm like, okay, I just need a 10-minute break. I'm just going to read through a couple of these different affirmations on my note cards. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to add to that is when I'm in the midst of doing something where I can't stop to read an affirmation, but the task doesn't really require my brain power or focused thought, like doing chores, doing the dishes, or even driving. It's not like you can really stop and read your note cards. You can listen to affirmations, or you can just, some that you have taught yourself already. You can definitely start reciting that, an affirmation that I use a lot just to kind of clear my head, to center and realign with my higher self. is, for example, I am unconditionally loved and eternally supported. And I guess that's also something I say when I just feel like I'm having a hard time or something is out of my control. And this kind of reminds me that there's more to me than just this physical body and just this ego brain. So then I'll just say this over and over again. I am unconditionally loved and eternally supported. I am unconditionally loved and eternally supported. And I'll even play a little game with myself and just see how long I can recite that affirmation without my mind wandering, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15. And it's quite funny how quickly I catch myself on another random thought. And I just, giggle about it and then get back to saying that same sentence. I am unconditionally loved and eternally supported. And then my brain goes, oh, but what about this? And that's what I had trouble with. And I need to figure out a solution for that. And I'm like, nope. I am unconditionally loved and eternally supported. Try it out. Try to just say that straight for 5 minutes and see how different your take is on your current situation. Because we're definitely at that point, pattern interrupt. We are getting onto a different momentum. We are aligning ourselves with a different vibration. All right, I just want to wrap this up with this powerful reminder. The right affirmation, incantation, or mantra is going to feel like a big sigh of relief. It will feel empowering, it will feel uplifting, and it will feel like the knot in your chest is instantly released. So look for that. It will feel good when you find the right affirmation, when you hear the right affirmation, when you create the right affirmation for you. It will feel wonderful. All right. Thank you for tuning in, for listening, for being here. And I will see you tomorrow on ETA 56 Days.